This episode of the Forward Compatible podcast has been presented by GamersGather.com. Hello and welcome once again to the Forward Compatible podcast. This is episode 115, part 2, for April 20th, 2014. My name's Tony. I'm joined, as always, by my fellow podcasters, Masis and Jason. How are you? This, of course, is part 2. In the event you have yet to do so, please do pause the video, click out, or watch it later. Part 1, where we cover this week's news as well as answer the viewers' burning questions. This is part 2, where we cover... Tony's topic of the week. I doubled up on that one.
Very nice.
So this week we're doing something a little bit differently. I know we've made brief mentions about our partnership recently with GamersGather.com, and this week the site has actually launched into beta. And we're going to kind of talk a little bit about the site, GamersGather in general, ourselves, and so on and so forth. So I have a little questionnaire. We're going to go through it, and we're going to discuss every point piece by piece. So, sweet. Everybody else set?
Well, Doyle rules!
All right, let's kick it off with the obvious one where, to start with, we'll have, what is GamersGather all about?
Well, we'll start off by letting everybody know that I actually work for GamersGather. We'll get into that a little bit later, but my role is the Director of Marketing and Content Manager for the company. GamersGather, and the short version is that it is a social network for gamers. Mm-hmm. Board games, video games, card games, minifigs, anything and everything that you can think of all under one house.
Yeah. It kind of works similar to like it's very similar like a social networking type thing where you can friend people and join groups and communicate with the people that you want to communicate with, and you don't necessarily have to see news feeds or anything else from other people that you really maybe don't care about.
Yeah, I mean it's very focused about games specifically, but it is interesting for the fact of quick little example. I've got a friend on there that I did not know played Dungeons & Dragons. I've known the guy for 10 years, but he listed that as one of the things that he likes. Now I can see that, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, why have we never, done anything together?
D&D,
yeah. So it's just, one little aspect of, like, again, I've known the guy for so long, we've played video games together, but we've never crossed over into that other medium. Mm-hmm. So it's one interesting aspect of it.
Rock on. For the second point, let's talk a little bit about the origins of GamersGather.
Well, that's a little hard for us to speak on. I do know that Mark, the CEO of the company, he started it about 7 years ago. It was him, probably a small group of friends, much like how we started Forward Compatible, got together, came up with a concept, built a website. To my understanding, the website got so big that he couldn't manage it himself anymore. And it turned into an actual company, instead of just being a hobby. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You've known him for what?
6-7 months.
Okay.
Roughly.
Yeah.
I've got, again, weird connections. I know people that he knows, and he knows people that I know, and so on and so forth. And that's how we kind of. We'll get to.
Yeah, it works out well because they're local as well. They're a local Chicago-based company as we are, so it worked out really well because we like meeting people in the general area that have. Yeah, that's how we actually met Moss as well, because of your small little website.
Small business company.
Yeah,
small business
that has to deal in the video game world. So
one guy doing the whole thing, not too big.
Yeah.
Not really a big deal.
So, and then we end up meeting him because we're right down the street as well. We like tying all the gamers in the Chicagoland area together. So.
And that's one of the bigger pictures that we want to achieve. Not only for us at Forward Compatible, but with GamersGather is want to bring everybody together and have one place that we can go to kind of get all the information of what's going on in the city and so on and so forth, and even on a larger scale, different events and things like that taking place.
Yeah, for me, one of my hopes is because like a lot of other sites that cover video gaming and even stuff like YouTube with its video gaming content, some of the comment sections turn into such a cesspool.
Yes.
And you're always looking for somewhere where you can sometimes it'll be like, oh, this title is released, and then you look at the comments and it's just like, oh, Nintendo sucks, no, Xbox sucks, no, PlayStation sucks. It's just like, can we talk about the game that just got announced at all? Does anyone want to talk about the actual article?
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of rabid fanboyism out there, which, there's not a whole lot that you can do about, but generally speaking, it's the bigger picture that we're trying to achieve.
Well, yeah, this to me, from the time I've experienced with it on the beta, it seems like a cleaner version because you're actually logging in, you're actually creating a real account. You're not just using something like Discuss or whatever, where it's just kind of like an alter ego that no one's ever going to be able to trace. You're given a little bit more info, not a ton.
Yeah.
But you might be held a little bit more accountable.
Well, that and also
what you're saying on the internet.
When you join a specific group, for instance, I have a friend who started a HeroClick group. Well, if you have no interest in HeroClix whatsoever, you don't join the HeroClick group. Granted, there's trolls and things like that, but that's why the people who start the group have the option to moderate who's allowed in the group, which is nice. So if you're not enthusiastic about HeroClix, then no problem. You want to do a group about fantasy football? Go right ahead.
Yeah.
And that's
people
that's
who are
what it's all
interested
about.
can all talk about it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's a clean format for people to get on and talk about things that they're passionate about.
All right, let's talk about something very near and dear to us.
Yes.
How did we, For Compatible Podcast, get assimilated with the fine folks over at GamersGather?
Well, it was kind of interesting. Through a mutual friend, orchestrating something. They were at a party, had heard that we did a podcast. Mark did GamersGather, showed interest in us, reached out. We started talking a little bit back and forth, and just kind of seeing what he wanted. What he was interested in. He basically said, I want people to be able to. I want a group that I have common interests in to be able to review games and things like that, and help supply us with what we need to kind of step our game up a little bit, which he's done so far. Yeah. We haven't used any of it. Well, there's a light rig back there.
We're getting to it. Yeah. We're getting to it slowly but surely.
Stuff over here off the screen, but just in being able to go to the Titanfall, that was our first kind of
big
meetup.
event. Yeah, and
granted,
helped us out with all
we
that.
had some audio issues and so on and so forth with that, but I think that went great. Mm-hmm. That was our first kind of meeting together. And common interests. It's just the same thing that the site does. He likes what we do, and came to us and said, "Hey, let's do something."
Yeah, it's good for us because we get to have another outlet that we get to express our views and opinions on, and the people that do watch us on a regular basis seem to dig what we do. So it helps to be able to broaden our audience a bit, and expose us to more people as well, and we get to help them out with. I know you're working for them.
Yeah, it turned into a full-time job for me, which is awesome because it's something that I'm very passionate about is gaming. If not, I wouldn't be sitting here doing what we do. And it's a new medium for me to kind of jump into. It's a lot of fun so far. One of the other things that I want to make sure, because we've joked around plenty of times with our loyals over the years about, like, if Microsoft approached us, we'd sell out in a heartbeat. Mark and GamersGather, even though I work for GamersGather, they have no influence on like.
Well,
go ahead.
That's actually going to bring us to my next thing: is how GamersGather and For Compatible are working together. Okay. So.
Well, again, I want to make it very clear. Even though this is like a infomercial for GamersGather. We are not influenced by them. He doesn't give us a script. He doesn't hand us games and say, "Hey, these guys gave it to us. You got to give them a great review," or anything like that. Same way when Moss handed us Painkiller, which I don't even think has come out yet. Yeah, you know,
It might have gotten canceled. Got delayed by 4 months.
Yeah.
A week before its launch.
I know.
It was
I know.
really
That's
bad game.
but you know the thing is like you know it's all about the opportunity. He needs people to give he needs gamers to give reviews, not journalists to do video game reviews, which you see a lot of. You know, it's what we want to review. We get to pick the games that we want to do. And we get to, you know, just talk passionate about what we like. So
And passion's a big part of it, because I know personally, like when I watch content and stuff, I'd rather have someone who is very passionate about what they're talking about, as opposed to someone who's maybe very articulate and presents themselves very well, but you could tell they're not really into whatever it is that they're specifically talking
Sure.
about. So I know that's a big help for us, and I hope that's why a lot of people tune into us, is because they feel that we're real about what we provide every week.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong. That doesn't really matter. It's the energy. He's just like, oh God.
so we're wrong a lot more than
10
we're
million.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
10 million.
But I mean, yeah, it's all about, you know, again, it's like we're not, you know, getting any special treatment from anybody. We go out, we still buy the games ourselves. There's a few examples of a couple things that like betas and stuff, but that's no different than 90% of the people out there nowadays. They get betas and everything.
Yeah.
But it's really cool so far.
Yeah, to touch up on what you were saying a couple minutes ago, like from my limited experience, because we're just kind of kicking this all off with GamersGather, they've been very, very polite with us. They're like Jason was getting at. They're still allowing us to do whatever we want, whenever we want. We're just helping to produce some content for them, which is exactly what we were looking for. You know, we didn't want to have someone like you were saying maybe be like, oh, you have to do this, or these guys are a big sponsor. You got to talk nicely about
Yeah,
them.
I mean, we made, you know, obviously I've changed a lot of the little bumpers and stuff to the banner that they made for us, but that's more out of just because it was cool that they made something for us. So that's why, you know, I throw that in there. And of course, you know, we've got a couple of little things like, you know, the little intro that says, you know, it's been presented by GamersGather, but that's because we want to incorporate the site more into what we're doing. You know, the podcasts are still going to be released through YouTube and iTunes. None of that's changing at all. We may do some exclusive stuff that'll go up on there, but that's our show is still always going to be for compatible podcast. This is what we do. That will never change.
So I know we've been talking with them, Jason the longest, me a couple months now, and then we recently started kind of introing you to everybody over at GamersGather. What are your initial thoughts about everything over there?
Well, it's very promising, and I got to meet Mark at the. I guess was that an official gathering or?
Well, this week's we put it up as an official gathering, but you did get a chance to meet him last week.
Yeah, and I guess one of the premises is to actually bring gamers to physical locations.
Yes.
To have, you know,
Gatherings.
Yeah, to bring gamers to have gatherings.
Yes.
Exactly.
At the Galloping. So we met up at the Galloping Ghost Arcade, and you know, I knew Jason, and I had met Mark the week before, and you were there. But then already I'm like starting to meet people that like just through mutual friends and through this event that you know, it was only 3 or 4 people I didn't know, but now I know them, and maybe if I saw them a second time, I'd be like, oh hey, I remember I kicked your ass and
exactly
broke
because
up before.
you play games together, you make a connection.
Yeah,
it's not just about.
I always remember my victims.
It's not just about the act of meeting up and playing games, but it's
about beating them.
Well, that and it's about having common interests.
Winning is everything.
If you're not first, you're last.
True. Very true.
But no, I can see that, especially as things get rolling and there's more frequent events. And you know, I like much like Jason now. I work in the game industry to an extent where you know, if there's like a gathering every day, like I'd be at one like maybe 5 days a week because like it's fun.
We did 2 this week ourselves. You know. So
Yeah, they always end up turning into a good time. You hang out with like-minded people that maybe you didn't know previously.
Any place that wants to A, pay me to play video games, B, have me talk about video games, and C, get to go to a place where there's video games.
Yeah,
It's a
A-okay in
win-win
your
for
book.
me, you know? So
let's go into this a little bit more. How will GamersGather specifically grow? Because like, what is their future scope kind of looking like?
well, it's all about getting people onto the site. Again, it's completely free. There's no weird credit card charges or anything like that. It's 100% open, but it's about an organic growth. The more people that get on there and create their own groups and create their own events, naturally grow a site.
Word of mouth is a powerful tool,
Mhm.
and if people come on and they enjoy what they're looking at,
I
they
mean,
may feel obligated to let a couple of their friends know to hop in and maybe create a new group.
exactly. I can host an event every single day, for the next year, and get 10 people out. But I'm only going to do video games because that's what I'm passionate about, per se. But for instance, Moss plays poker. I never knew that. You could start a poker group on there and get people that you may have never played poker with before and start a group and grow that out. And there's just different aspects of everything to grow from it's almost an organic growth. The more people that we tell to get on the site, then they create their own events and they customize the site for themselves. You list what games that you like, so that's going to directly affect the news that you get and recommended players that are in your area due to common interests. And if you host an event, and let's say you're within a 50-mile radius, it'll ping people that have a common interest to what you're doing and let them know, hey, there's this event going on.
Street pass events, or
Exactly.
whatever you guys want to do.
Even these little arcade get-ups.
It's also a golden opportunity because there's sometimes my real friends in real life that actually game is pretty small actually.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll be in the mood for something, I want to play, and I'll send out a message, and one guy's working and one guy's doing this or doing that, and we can't play. It's also a great opportunity. Say you want to play something kind of old school, like Halo Reach.
Mhm.
You want to just hop into a game of Halo Reach, and you don't mind, waiting a little bit. You could start a group. Be like, hey, does a couple people want to play? Trade gamer tags and
exactly.
set up online games with people you would have never met otherwise.
Just because you make an event on the website, it doesn't have to necessarily be a physical gathering. It can be a meetup. Hey, we're gonna Friday night. I want
Let's
to
play
a group
this.
of people play Halo, or even if you play an MMO. Hey, we're gonna trade some items. Let's meet up at this location in the game on a Friday night, whatever the case may be, and be able to see what you got, see what we got, and kind of we obviously want people to meet up because that's a big thing that's kind of a dying breed in video games.
They are fun. I've been to them a few times already. It's a good time getting together with people, just playing video games, talking video games.
Unless it's a major convention, and then even when you go to a convention, it's just so overwhelming that you're not really mingling and meeting people. The act of meeting up to play video games is kind of a dying breed. Everything's online nowadays. Communities are all online, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's a social aspect of being able to actually see the person, interact with them, find out other things that like common interests and things like that, and actually again, it's building a network.
Yeah. All right. So how can the people out there that are watching us right over here get involved?
It's really easy. We're gonna set up. The second half of this video is going to be a tutorial on how to go to the website, create a profile, start a group, and
Get a little simulated with everything.
Yeah, just a quick little run through. But all you got to do is go to GamersGather.com and create a profile. If you have a Facebook, there is a Facebook button that will link everything, and you don't even have to input all your information. And that's how you get started. Let's start building your list.
Start friend request all of us right away.
Yeah. If you don't know us by name, you probably know us by gamer tag. I used my gamer tag for mine.
I did not.
Okay.
I used FWD for forward. And
FWD
then
Tony.
there's a
Yeah.
Hyphen.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tony.
I'm
Okay.
just Mossies.
You are.
The one.
It should be the Great. Why is it Great?
Can we get that?
We can.
Okay, I'm Mossies the Great.
Yeah, we can do that. That's not
That's
a
my
problem.
name for everything.
You can.
Now, so is the most important aspect to find games you like and click to start the connections?
Yes.
To make connections with people you don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I've seen a lot of them pop up under my recommendations. I guess you went in and you added 1942, 1943, and Twin Cobra to yours. Well, we have a friend recommendation, so now it told me that you like those.
Mm-hmm.
So you see how it works. We can meet on a friend level, or we can meet on a game level.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know. obviously you did Link to the Past also. I'm like, I didn't put that on my favorites yet. Click now. It's it's on my
So
favorites.
like it'll show me other people that like the Link to the Past if I went to search for that.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then it's based on
You can connect with the person if you'd like to.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of but again, I'm not a programmer. I don't know all the algorithms that they use, but obviously it's still growing and it's still building. There'll be some tweaks to the system, but that's the general concept. Is the more that you put into the site on your end, the more you customize it for you, the more people will see that and kind of grow from there.
Now, as we had previously stated, we are still in beta on
Yes.
all this, but coming up very soon, we do have the official launch party.
Yes.
I don't know if you wanted to talk about that at all.
Yes, it is Friday, May the 16th this year. We are hosting our launch party at Emporium Arcade Bar, which is here in Chicago on Milwaukee Avenue. It starts at 6 p.m. A little early, but we figure people want to get off right off of work, have a drink, whatever the case may be. It's free to get in. We are going to have board games set up. We're going to have some giveaways, and we're going to run a Injustice tournament on PlayStation 4 with some prizes that we're going to give away also. So again, that's May 16th.
It's what, 6 to 1 or 2 in the morning?
We're probably till they close, so people can come in whenever it's convenient for them. We will actually have some computers set up there. If you haven't registered, that's how you get into the tournament. You got to register out of the site to be into the tournament. But we'll have stuff there that people can just jump right in. Emporium is actually really cool. They have, I believe, over 100 different whiskeys available and craft beers. 40 classic arcade cabinets there. It's a very nice bar, pretty good size. I think what they said is that's like a 20-foot projector screen that we'll be able to play Injustice on.
Oh, really? So it's
Yes.
going to be like streamed in front of everybody.
Yes.
Nice. Very
Yes.
nice. Very nice.
So, looks cool.
So we can watch Tony fail under the pressure.
Yeah, with
Well,
hundreds and 8,000s
yeah.
fans watching.
Most of us will be out there. Some of us do have some other obligations, which is okay. There'll be other gatherings, other events.
Yes.
But yeah, I'll be there. I hope Moss will be there.
We'll
If
be
there's
there.
an Injustice tournament where he can embarrass people live, I think he'll be there.
I might not play Injustice, but I will find people to represent on my behalf.
Angry Andy will be there.
Team
He's
Mossies.
Yeah, he's
'Cause
going
it is
to
actually-
bring in sleepers.
It's actually Angry Andy's birthday that day.
Woohoo.
Yeah.
Double whammies. All right, so like we were saying earlier, we have started a few little.
There is a forward compatible group on GamersGather that we've started.
Yeah.
So they can also find us that way.
We've also already started a few pre-gathering gatherings.
Sure.
We had one that we spoke of earlier at Galloping Ghost this past weekend.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we wanted to.
What I did, well, I mean, obviously, Mas and I had previously discussed that we were going to be there because he had some other obligations for being there because of your mini-thon.
I had a business meeting.
Exactly. So he asked me if I wanted to go. Well, I took the advantage to go up on Galloping Ghost, and we created a Galloping Ghost gathering for that night. And the friends that I have on there, I invited them through there. I didn't do a Facebook thing. I didn't do a Facebook event or anything like that. I used that as my outlet.
And we actually had a decent turnout.
And we did. It was actually pretty cool.
So
So
we ended up having a lot of fun. We did a few tournaments on Mortal Kombat 4 and what else did we play? We played WrestleMania.
The arcade game.
and what was the
Samurai Showdown 7.
Yeah.
Grid and Killer Instinct.
The Grid, yeah.
Mhm.
And we ended up having some giveaways, some T-shirts, some what else were there? Some
I got
passes
passed,
for Galloping Ghost. and
So
stuff like that.
again, it's not just about the company of GamersGather orchestrating events. It's like what we did.
Yeah.
You make an event, tell your friends you're going to
And
be
go
out there.
and go have a good time with people.
Yeah.
So
And if it gets big enough to the point where, I mean, obviously, if somebody's hosting an event, they can ask us to come out too. You know, for like sponsorship and stuff. We'll bring banners and things like that, promote stuff. So that's.
now we were touching on it briefly earlier, but this will be your chance to explain a little bit more. We had the Zelda mini marathon. This was something that helped out as well. You end up finding people like with Galloping Ghosts, and you get to help out with stuff like that. I don't know if you wanted to kind of recap what you did.
I ran a mini marathon, as you guys know. You were referring to the interview and such.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
well, because
The whole thing, just your chance
That
to...
was like again.
GamersGather came out to the marathon
Yes.
in the form of Jason.
Yes.
Uh,
The donations
Yeah.
came from Mark and I
yeah,
on behalf of Forward Compatible and GamersGather.
yeah, they were one of the biggest contributors to the donations at the marathon, where I played through 5 Zelda games in 22 and a half hours.
Very tiring.
Oh God. Oh God. And we raised almost 2,700,
Mhm.
and then the next week, then that was the same event we were talking about on Friday, where we got to meet with Doc Mack, the owner of the Galloping Ghost Arcade.
Which, if it bringing it to like GamersGather, which because you had invited me and because I put it out there to my boss, he got to make a connection with Mac in person, and they got to meet and discuss whatever business they needed to work out. So, just like on a social level, that worked out great.
Yeah, see, I'm being used as the middleman to make connections.
Hey, Mark made a connection with you too. I mean, you guys talked and whatever.
The moral of the story is, if you want connections, you come here.
Yeah, come to Mas. So,
Last is the man.
I make it happen.
Yeah.
and lastly, to kind of close it out, GamersGather gives back. They're also involved with a couple charities and
Yes.
stuff. So I don't know if
Yes.
we wanted to touch on that.
We just applied for our official sponsorship from Extra Life. We're working with not only the company directly, but with the local chapters. I think we've got 2 and we're working on some
And
events for
we
it.
met up with them at the Titanfall,
From Titanfall,
that
yes.
that GamersGather orchestrated for
Mhm.
us. So it all ties into everything.
Yeah, I'm waiting to hear back from Child's Play. That one I got the idea from you guys from your dungeon
Great charity.
marathons.
Yeah, because you guys help them out every
Yeah,
year, right?
so I mean,
Yeah.
that's a big aspect of it too. Is that we want to do things where we can give back, hold charity events, to return the favor. Also, it's for me, it's not about just working for a company, but it's about the passion behind it and like charities and things like that. I'm actually like really into. So like once he told me I want to work with Extra Life, Child's Play, Microsoft is doing something with helping educate parents on the benefits of gaming for kids. That's what honestly sold me. Besides just being passionate about games, like preserving gaming, give back and preserving gaming for younger generations too, and in turn, helping sick kids is always a great thing. So.
All right. Well, now we're actually going to send you guys over. We're going to switch over to the computer, and we're actually going to show you guys a little bit about GamersGather.com and give you guys a bit of a tour. So stick around. What's up, everybody? Tony here from Forward Compatible, and I'm here to give you guys a walkthrough of the GamersGather.com beta. First thing you want to do is go ahead and click Register, and then you get to go ahead and set up your profile. Select the email that you'd like to use. We're going to go ahead and use the Forward Compatible Podcast at gmail.com. Go ahead and select the password, after which go ahead and confirm it. Now it's going to ask you for your real first and last name, but fear not, because you're allowed to use an alias later on after you register. Go ahead and put your zip code in, agree to the terms, go ahead and click Next. Alright, so we went ahead and jumped ahead because it's actually going to send you a confirmation email to the email address that you had just listed, asking you to go ahead and put in a code. So we jumped ahead after we had already done that, and this is what your new home screen would look like. Now, my first suggestion would be go ahead and find some games that pique your interest. We'll go ahead and use a staple like Zelda, and as you can see, every Zelda game that has ever come out comes up. Go ahead and click on A Link to the Past, and you can either add it to your favorites, recommend it, or share it on Facebook. We're going to go ahead and add it to our favorites. Now you can go ahead and do that across all different games. Any game that you like, you can go ahead and add it into your personal account. The next thing we're going to do is actually go ahead and show you folks how to create a group. Go over here and create a group, and it's just going to ask you for some basic information. Gonna do the Tony Chow Army. America. After you set up some basic information, you can go ahead and restrict the age group of people that are allowed into your group, make it public or private, and go ahead and create the group. Now, as you can see on the left-hand side, or actually after we post a little here, on the left-hand side, you can actually go ahead and invite all the players that you would like into your group. Now, the next thing I wanted to show you folks how to do is how to create an event. You want to go under Events on the top tabs, and go ahead and click on Create an Event. It's very simple. Go ahead and call this one the Tony Chow Party. Gonna go ahead and do it at my house, and you go ahead and create the calendar dates when the event is actually going to take place. Specific times really lets you narrow in on when you want to create the event. And go ahead and set it for public or private, and then go ahead and create the event. Same as before, you can go ahead and recommend it from your personal account, or go over to the left-hand side and invite players. Now, the last thing I want to show you folks is the 3 top buttons toward the top of the page. You can see one kind of looks like a mailbox, and that's going to be mail and invitations. We just created this account to show you guys, so of course we don't have any mail or invitations, but in the future, when you start getting your account rolling, this is where that would all be. The next button over is actually going to be the recommendations of games and players. This is where GamersGather is very unique. It actually looks into the system, and based on the games that you select that you like, it's going to recommend people that have similar interests to you to become friends with. And the third one over is going to be connection requests. This is essentially when somebody finds your account and they want to become friends with you and connect. This is where you would see the actual request pop up. All right, the final thing we're going to go ahead and show you folks today is how to actually make a connection. So you want to go and click on the top portion of the screen where it allows you to find games, players, groups, or events. I'm going to go ahead and search for myself, and there I am. That's my actual account. So now you're going to want to go over to the left-hand side and click on the Connect button. Now it's going to send a request to myself right now. And next time I would have logged in, I'll see the request under the Connection Request button that I just went over with you guys a couple minutes ago. You can go ahead and click on Accept afterwards, and you guys will be friends. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial of GamersGather.com's beta.